Welcome to our channel History of Coins, where we explore the hidden gems of numismatics. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating world of U.S. state quarter-dollar coins, as some of these coins are rare and can make you rich overnight. In this video, we are gonna uncover the rarest coins and their values. So make sure to watch the complete video and find out if you have one of these. Now let's continue our today's video. Top 1 today, we are diving deep into the story of a coin that may be hiding in your pocket change or coin collection without you even realizing its true value. We're talking about the United States of America state quarter dollar, issued in the year 2001, representing the beautiful state of Vermont. At first glance, this coin might look like any other state quarter, but as you'll soon find out, certain versions of this coin are incredibly rare and can be worth a fortune. So grab a seat, listen closely, and let's explore why this Vermont state quarter has become a prized possession among collectors. The State Quarters program, launched in 1999, was one of the most popular coin series ever released by the U.S. Mint. Each year, 5 different states were honored with their own unique designs. In 2001, one of those states was Vermont, and the coin design perfectly captured the essence of this historic and nature-rich state. The Vermont quarter features Camel's Hump Mountain in the background, framed by majestic maple trees with sap buckets attached, symbolizing the state's long tradition of maple syrup production. Across the top, it proudly says "Freedom and Unity," Vermont's state motto, which reflects both independence and community spirit. On the obverse side, like all state quarters, you'll see the familiar portrait of George Washington, designed by John Flanagan. But what really matters to collectors is not just the design, but the condition, the rarity, and especially the possibility of minting errors that make some Vermont quarters worth far more than face value. You might be wondering, what makes this particular 2001 Vermont quarter so desirable? The answer lies in a combination of scarcity, condition, and errors. Millions of Vermont quarters were struck, but most went straight into circulation. Over the years, they've been used in everyday transactions, scratched, dinged, and worn down. That means finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is already a challenge. Coins graded by professional services in the highest mint state levels, such as MS-67 or higher, are incredibly rare and command high premiums in the marketplace, but the real treasure lies in the error coins. Some Vermont quarters have been discovered with striking mistakes that make them one-of-a-kind collectibles. Errors can happen in several ways. A double die, where the design looks like it has been stamped twice. Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing, or planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a defective or wrong piece of metal. These kinds of errors transform an ordinary 25-cent piece into a numismatic jewel worth thousands. Collectors are constantly on the hunt for these unusual Vermont quarters because their rarity and uniqueness drive up demand. Imagine holding a coin that most people overlook as just pocket change, but instead, it's a rare variety with a striking error or a perfectly preserved, uncirculated example. That's the thrill of coin collecting. It's like a treasure hunt where history, artistry, and chance all come together. And the Vermont 2001 quarter is one of those coins that continues to surprise collectors with its potential value. Now, let's talk about the big question. Just how much could one of these rare Vermont quarters be worth today? While the majority of circulated Vermont state quarters are only worth their face value of 25 cents, the rarest ones in exceptional condition or with dramatic errors have sold for astonishing prices at auctions and among serious collectors. And here's the number you've been waiting for. A Vermont 2001 state quarter in the right condition, with rarity and error factors combined, has been valued as high as $83,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $83,000 for a single quarter-dollar coin. So the next time you check your spare change, make sure to take a close look. That Vermont quarter hiding in your coin jar might just be the treasure you've been waiting for. Top 2, we are turning our attention to one of the most fascinating pieces from the famous U.S. State Quarters program, the Maryland State Quarter, issued in the year 2000. At first glance, it may look like just another 25-cent piece in your pocket, but listen very carefully, because certain versions of this quarter are worth far more than their face value. In fact, some of them have shocked collectors by reaching staggering prices at auctions. So grab your coin jar, pay close attention, And let's dive into why the Maryland quarter deserves a special place in any coin collection. The United States Mint launched the 50-state quarters program in 1999, one of the most ambitious and popular coin programs in American history. Millions of people began saving quarters from their change, eager to collect all 50 designs. Each coin highlighted the history and identity of a different state, and in the year 2000, Maryland was honored as one of the featured states. The design of the Maryland state quarter is striking and full of symbolism. On the reverse side, you will see the historic Maryland State House, located in Annapolis. This is no ordinary building. It is the oldest state capitol in continuous use in the United States, and it played a key role during the Revolutionary era. Surrounding the State House is a wreath of white oak leaves, a tribute to Maryland's state tree, the white oak, representing strength, endurance, and deep roots in history. Along the top of the coin, you'll see the proud words, "The Old Line State," Maryland's official nickname, given in honor of the state's valiant soldiers during the American Revolution. On the obverse, as with all state quarters, you'll find the classic portrait of George Washington, but the real intrigue for collectors lies in the details, the condition, and the rare errors that sometimes occurred during minting. So, what makes the Maryland State Quarter from 2000 so special? The answer lies in scarcity, condition, and minting errors. While millions of these coins were produced, most ended up in circulation, exchanged countless times, scratched, worn, and damaged. Finding one today in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially one graded at the very top levels like MS-67 or MS-68, is extremely rare. Coins like this are the crown jewels of state quarter collections and can demand very high prices from serious buyers. But beyond condition, there are also rare varieties that send values skyrocketing. Some Maryland quarters have been found with off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or misaligned. Others may have double die errors, where letters or images look doubled, creating a dramatic and collectible effect. There are even planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a defective or wrong blank, giving it an entirely unique look. These minting mistakes are incredibly sought after because they transform an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind rarity. Collectors prize these coins not only for their value, but also for their story. Each error coin represents a tiny mystery from the minting process, and owning one is like holding a piece of history that almost slipped through the cracks. Combine that with a high-grade condition, and suddenly this 25-cent coin becomes a treasure worth hunting. Now comes the moment you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While most Maryland quarters are only worth face value, the rarest examples in uncirculated condition, especially those with dramatic minting errors, have been known to reach absolutely incredible amounts. And yes, some have even been valued as high as $80,000. That's right, $80,000 for a single Maryland state quarter from the year 2000. Imagine finding that kind of fortune hiding in your pocket change or tucked away in an old coin collection. So the next time you come across a Maryland quarter, don't just toss it aside. Check its condition, look for errors, and you may just have a hidden treasure in your hands. Coin collecting is all about discovery, patience, and appreciation for history, and the Maryland State Quarter is the perfect example of how something so small can hold such incredible value. Top 3. We are traveling across the Pacific to a fascinating place with rich history and culture, Guam. That's right, we're talking about the United States of America State Quarter Dollar issued in 2009 to honor Guam. At first glance, this coin may look like just another modern quarter, but believe me, some of these coins have become incredibly rare and valuable, making them highly desirable to collectors everywhere. Listen carefully, because this story is one you won't want to miss. The Guam Quarter was part of the U.S. Mint's District of Columbia and U.S. Territories Quarters program, which followed the wildly popular 50-state quarters program. While the original state series wrapped up in 2008, collectors were thrilled to see the program continue in 2009 with designs celebrating Washington, D.C., Puerto Rico, Guam, American Samoa, the U.S. Virgin Islands, and the Northern Mariana Islands. Each coin gave Americans a chance to learn about these unique places while also sparking the excitement of coin collecting. The design of the Guam Quarter is a work of art that captures the essence of the island. On the reverse side, you'll see an outline of Guam's map, symbolizing its proud identity. Next to it is a flying prow, a traditional sailing vessel of the Chamorro people, representing the island's seafaring heritage. Also included is a latte stone, a pillar used in ancient Chamorro architecture, which has become a symbol of strength and endurance for the people of Guam. Across the top, the words Guahan Itano Manchamorro appear, meaning Guam, land of the Chamorro, honoring the native culture that continues to thrive today. On the obverse side is the familiar portrait of George Washington, but for collectors, it's the reverse design and condition of the coin that make all the difference. Now let's talk about what makes the 2009 Guam quarter rare and valuable. First, condition is everything. The vast majority of these quarters were put into circulation, where they were passed from hand to hand, scratched, worn, and damaged over time. Finding one today in pristine, uncirculated condition, especially those graded at the top levels like MS-67 or MS-68, is very difficult. And when collectors are competing for a limited number of high-grade coins, prices can skyrocket, but the real excitement comes from error coins. Errors occur when something goes wrong during the minting process, and they can transform an ordinary coin into a one-of-a-kind rarity. Some Guam quarters have been found with doubled dies, where parts of the design look doubled and create a dramatic effect. Others may show off-center strikes, missing details, or even planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a defective or incorrect blank. These error coins are not only rare, they are unique, which means collectors are willing to pay incredible premiums to own them. What makes the Guam quarter even more interesting is the timing of its release. By 2009, the state quarters program had already created a massive community of collectors. Everyone was paying attention to the new designs, and that means rare Guam errors were spotted quickly and preserved. As a result, the number of high-quality or error coins available is very limited, and demand has only increased as the years have gone by. Imagine finding a coin like this in your pocket change or tucked away in a jar at home. Most people would see just another quarter, but collectors know better. They see history, culture, and rarity all packed into a small piece of metal. That's the beauty of coin collecting. Every coin has a story, and some stories are worth far more than 25 cents. And now we arrive at the big reveal, the question on every collector's mind. Just how much could the rarest Guam state quarters be worth? While most are still worth only face value, the rare examples with high grades or dramatic minting errors have shocked collectors with their market value. In fact, some of these rare Guam quarters have been valued as high as $78,000. Yes, you heard that correctly, $78,000 for a single 2009 Guam quarter. That is the kind of discovery that can change the way you look at the coins in your collection forever. So the next time you see a Guam quarter, don't pass it by without a second look. Check its condition, search for unusual errors, and remember, you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins from the entire U.S. territory series. Top 4, we're traveling to the American West, to a place known for its mountains, deserts, and incredible history, Utah. That's right. We're talking about the United States of America state quarter dollar issued in 2007 to honor the state of Utah. At first glance, this coin might look like an ordinary 25-cent piece, but listen carefully, because some versions of this Utah quarter have become extremely rare and valuable, and collectors are willing to pay huge sums to add them to their collections. The Utah quarter was part of the 50 state quarters program, which ran from 1999 through 2008, and became one of the most popular coin series in U.S. history. Each coin highlighted a state's unique identity, and Utah's design is both bold and symbolic. On the reverse, you'll see two historic locomotives facing each other at Promontory Summit. Between them is the Golden Spike, commemorating the completion of the first transcontinental railroad in 1869, a moment that literally connected the nation from coast to coast. The words "Crossroads of the West" appear proudly, reminding us of Utah's critical role in shaping America's transportation and economic history. On the obverse is the familiar portrait of George Washington, but as with all state quarters, it's the reverse design, condition, and minting errors that truly capture collectors' attention. Now, let's talk about rarity. Millions of Utah quarters were struck at both the Denver and Philadelphia mints, and most of them went straight into circulation. Over the years, they've been used in vending machines, passed through countless hands, and picked up scratches and wear. Because of this, finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition today is surprisingly difficult. Coins graded at the highest levels, like MS-67 or MS-68, are extremely rare, and when they appear at auctions, collectors compete fiercely to own them. But what really sends values soaring are error coins. Minting errors are like hidden treasures, and the Utah quarter has some fascinating examples. A few have been found with doubled die errors, where parts of the design appear doubled, especially on the lettering or the locomotives. Others show off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned, leaving parts missing or uneven. Some even have planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a flawed or wrong blank. Each of these errors makes the coin unique, and uniqueness is what collectors crave most. Imagine finding a Utah quarter where the golden spike looks doubled or where the locomotives aren't perfectly aligned. While most people would overlook it, a trained collector would recognize it instantly as a valuable rarity. Error coins like these are prized not only for their unusual appearance, but also because they represent mistakes that slipped through the strict quality controls of the U.S. Mint. Owning one is like holding a secret piece of history in your hand. What makes the Utah quarter even more special is its historical theme. The completion of the Transcontinental Railroad was one of the most significant events in American history, and the design captures that perfectly. This gives the coin an added layer of appeal. Beyond the metal, beyond the face value, it tells a story that resonates with collectors and history enthusiasts alike. So now comes the question that everyone has been waiting for. Just how much can the rarest Utah quarters be worth? While the majority of circulated examples are only worth face value, the rare coins in top condition or with dramatic minting errors have shocked collectors with their market prices. And here's the moment of truth. Some rare Utah state quarters from 2007, especially those in exceptional condition or with remarkable errors, have been valued as high as $76,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $76,000 for a single Utah quarter. That's the kind of discovery that turns an ordinary piece of change into a life-changing treasure. So the next time you come across a Utah quarter, don't just toss it into your pocket or spend it without a second thought. Take a closer look, check its details, and see if you might be holding a rare gem. Because in the world of coin collecting, history, rarity, and a little bit of luck can turn something small into something extraordinary. Top 5, we're heading to the Great Plains to explore one of the most beautiful and historically rich coins from the U.S. State Quarters program, the Nebraska State Quarter, issued in 2006. This coin is more than just pocket change. For collectors who know what to look for, it can be a true treasure worth far beyond its face value. So listen carefully and enjoy the story behind this remarkable coin, because it might just change the way you look at your change. The 50 State Quarters program, launched in 1999, became one of the most successful coin programs ever issued by the U.S. Mint. Millions of Americans began saving quarters from circulation, hoping to complete all 50 designs. By 2006, Nebraska's turn had arrived, and the state's design highlighted one of its most iconic landmarks, Chimney Rock. This striking natural formation, rising dramatically from the Nebraska plains, was a major landmark for pioneers traveling westward along the Oregon Trail. That on the reverse of the coin, you'll see Chimney Rock standing tall, with a covered wagon pulled by oxen crossing the rugged prairie. It's a powerful tribute to the determination and spirit of those who braved the journey west. Above the design is the word Nebraska, along with the year it became a state, 1867. On the obverse side is the familiar portrait of George Washington. While the design itself is fascinating, what makes this coin truly valuable is its rarity, condition, and the occasional minting error that transforms an ordinary coin into a collector's prize. Let's start with condition. Millions of Nebraska quarters were minted in both Denver and Philadelphia, and most of them were released into everyday circulation. That means they've been used in transactions, scratched, worn, and often forgotten. Finding a coin today in pristine, uncirculated condition is already difficult, and examples graded at the very top levels, like MS-67 or MS-68, are exceptionally rare. Collectors place tremendous value on these high-grade pieces, as they represent the finest survivors of their kind. But there's more. Minting errors are what truly capture collectors' imaginations. Error coins are produced when something goes wrong during the striking process, and these accidents can create unique and highly collectible varieties. Some Nebraska quarters have been discovered with doubled dies, where letters or design elements appear doubled. Others show off-center strikes, giving the coin an unusual and eye-catching look. There are even planchet errors, where the coin was struck on a flawed or incorrect metal blank. These mistakes are not only rare, but they also make each coin one of a kind, which is exactly what collectors crave. Imagine holding a Nebraska quarter where chimney rock appears slightly doubled, or the wagon looks shifted because of an off-center strike. Most people would never notice, but for collectors, that's a discovery worth celebrating. These errors represent the small mysteries of the minting process, tiny slips that escaped detection and ended up in circulation, waiting for sharp-eyed treasure hunters to find them. What makes the Nebraska quarter even more appealing is its historical subject matter. The pioneers who crossed the plains in covered wagons represent resilience and adventure, and chimney rock has long stood as a symbol of that journey. This connection to history gives the coin meaning beyond its metal, making it a prized piece for collectors who love both numismatics and American heritage. Now comes the part everyone has been waiting for, the value reveal. While most Nebraska state quarters from 2006 are only worth face value, the rare examples in exceptional condition or with dramatic minting errors can be worth astonishing amounts. Collectors have been willing to pay huge premiums for the finest and rarest examples. And here it is. Some Nebraska state quarters have been valued as high as $74,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $74,000 for a single 25-cent coin. That is the kind of discovery that makes coin collecting so thrilling. Something so ordinary, so overlooked, can turn out to be an extraordinary treasure. So the next time you come across a Nebraska quarter, don't just spend it without a second thought. Look carefully at its details, check for unusual markings or errors, and consider its condition. You might just be holding a coin that collectors dream about. Thank you for joining me on this journey into the story of the Nebraska 2006 state quarter. If you enjoyed this video and want to learn more about coins that could be hiding in your collection right now, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you never miss our future discoveries. Until next time, happy hunting, happy collecting, and may your next find be the treasure of a lifetime.